I remember when I was a kid, I never had a PlayStation 1. My parents never bought me one. But when I started high school, my parents bought me a PlayStation 2. Or no, actually I bought myself a PlayStation 2. I saved up my money and I got it for my birthday. Like I bought myself a birthday present. And but I didn't have a memory card. I didn't know I needed one, right? And then I got Final Fantasy 9. So here I am with a PlayStation 2 and Final Fantasy 9, which my PlayStation 2 could play PlayStation 1 games, right? And I didn't have a memory card. So I tried for like a whole semester of high school to beat Final Fantasy 9 without a memory card. I'd sit down and play it at night, and then like I would turn off the TV and like put some papers over the top of the PlayStation so my parents wouldn't be able to tell it was still on, you know, like they couldn't see the light on it, and just try and leave it running because I couldn't save the game, right? And then the next day I would hope that it was still on and hadn't been reset and I could keep going. And then invariably I would die and have to start all over. It was literally like Iron Man Final Fantasy 9. And I wasn't good at games back then. So I was just like grinding away. I know the beginning of Final Fantasy 9 so well because I've played it so many times, because I would die and be like, okay, this time I'm not going to lose to that boss. I just need to spend another 7 hours to get back to that boss, right? I never did manage to beat Final Fantasy 9 without a memory card. I probably could nowadays, I guess, theoretically, but I didn't do it. Eventually, that Christmas, which I got the PlayStation on my birthday. I got Final Fantasy 9 not long after that, and that's in April. That Christmas, I finally got a memory card for my PlayStation 2, and within like a week, I had beaten Final Fantasy 9. The beginning of it was like a cakewalk at that point, right? So there's a lot of like memories attached to Final Fantasy 9 for me. So I've always liked it. I mean, looking at it like objectively, I think there are some issues with it. I mean, like the fact that you learn your abilities from your armor and your weapons is kind of weird. It has like upsides and downsides, right? It gives you reason to use equipment you would never use, because it's like, this sword is not as good as this sword, but I haven't learned the ability on this sword, so I'm going to use the crappier sword because I still want to learn the ability. So that's kind of cool, I guess. It's not a bad system. Now, Final Fantasy VIII, on the other hand, I didn't like the system. Like, some of my friends didn't like Final Fantasy VIII because of the story. Like, they're trying to do this whole romance thing with Squall and everything. But, like, I didn't have an issue with the story so much. I didn't like the combat system. I didn't like the draw and the junction system. I don't know, that game just never grabbed me. Final Fantasy VIII is, like, one of my least favorite Final Fantasies. And I know some people who say it's their favorite, but I just don't like 8 that much. And Cortex Edge says 8 is my favorite and 6 is the best. I don't know what to tell you. I appreciate Draw and Junction now better than I did when I was younger. I guess mostly because I know how to thoroughly exploit it now. But I don't know, that almost makes me not like it even more though, because now I know just how easy it is to break Final Fantasy VIII over my knee and just make the game cry. Now, Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII isn't fair. Like, so this is me included. A lot of people, in America at least, Final Fantasy VII was like their first big JRPG. At least in my generation, right? Final Fantasy VII was actually the very first JRPG I ever played. I didn't even own it. Like I said, I didn't have a PlayStation 1. My cousin, Chuck, he had a PlayStation 1. And I don't know if he owned Final Fantasy VII or if he was borrowing Final Fantasy VII or if he rented it from Blockbuster or what. But he had Final Fantasy VII, and I was over one weekend, and we played Final Fantasy VII on his old PS1. It was this old, like, you know, the type with like the pop top, like you put the disc in, you pop the top down on top of it. Those old PlayStation ones. And I remember the type of PlayStation it is because I remember when we were playing that game, we got to the point where we had escaped Midgar. Basically, we got to the point where Final Fantasy Remake ended, right? Final Fantasy VII Remake. We got past all of that game. And we got to Calm, which is the town right outside of Midgar, where the party stops and Cloud has like a 30-minute long flashback where you see like Sephiroth burning down his hometown and Cloud and Tifa seeing each other while Cloud was still a soldier. Although not really, because Cloud's memories are effed up, but that's a whole nother issue. But anyways, that whole 30-minute flashback thing, we were at that point. And it's an interesting thing about that 30-minute flashback. There's no save point in the flashback. You can't save there. There's no save points in the past. You can save when you get to Calm, but once you start the flashback, you can't save until you're done with that whole story segment and they're done talking about it and you finally get to leave the building again. You can go save. And the reason that sticks in my mind so much is because my cousin Chuck had a little black cat, which he named Kitty. And we got to like the very end of that 30-minute cutscene. It's not a cutscene, you play it. The flashback sequence. And Kitty ran across the top of his pop-top PlayStation 1. And the CD skipped and the whole game reset. And I had to go back to the save point right after leaving Midgar and do that whole thing over again. I was so pissed at that cat. But yeah, good times. So there's a lot of nostalgia attached to Final Fantasy VII, I feel like. And it did have a good system. Like, Materia is awesome. I love Materia. I think Materia was a great system. I think that the combat was fun in Final Fantasy VII. I think the music was fun. I think the side quests were great. I think fighting the weapons was a lot of fun. I think chocobo breeding and getting, like, Knights of the Round by getting a gold chocobo and all the other side content you do was a lot of fun. The story had a lot of really fun moments. The fact that they can turn like the first 4 hours of Final Fantasy VII into this amazing remake game, and a lot of the stuff that happens in there was somehow squeezed into that first 4 hours. Like, I know they fleshed it out a lot, but a lot of that stuff in this new 40-hour game was like 4 hours of the original Final Fantasy VII. It was a really good game. So, is it overhyped? Yes. But it deserves a lot of the hype, too. I think the story was really good, too. I think that the story suffered from a bad translation. And I think a lot of the concepts didn't come across as well as they could have. And I hope that the remake series continues until we get the whole thing. Because I feel like, at least as a kid, the whole thing with Cloud and his memory and Zack and what was going on with Sephiroth and Genova was very confusing back in the day, right? And it could have been conveyed better. But Final Fantasy VII is really a great game, and I think it deserves the praise that it gets, even if it is overhyped. And it brought an entire generation of kids into the JRPG genre. And I think that's the biggest thing about it. But, you know, 6 is also very good. I love 5 because I love the job system. I love 4. Oh my god, like people don't talk about 4 enough sometimes. 4 had an amazing story. And there's like death scenes, and there's this great party that comes and goes, and like the story has so many little twists and turns, and you end up flying to the moon on a freaking whale. Like, 4 is awesome. people talk a lot about what happens to Aerith and what may not happen to Aerith in the new remake at this rate. But like Final Fantasy's been doing that shit to their characters like all the way back to Final Fantasy 2. Like of all the Final Fantasies, I think 2 and 4 are like just killing people off like left and right, man. How does it take 40 hours to leave Midgar? It is a 40 hour, it's 30 to 40 hour game. It was good. It didn't feel like lots of fillers and cutscenes. I don't really agree with that. I don't think it did. I think they did a great job of, extending, like, and turning Midgar into its own game. It was a lot of fun. And, like, a lot of the stuff that's in there, honestly, was in the original. Which is what blows my mind. Because I'm sitting here like, okay, this part is new. You know, there's some sections where like, okay, this is new. That's fine. But there's so many pieces of it that I'm like, I remember doing this in the original. How did all of that fit into Midgar? Because Midgar is not that long of a part of the game in the original. But like, there's so many things that you actually do in the original. They just fly by faster, I guess. Even Final Fantasy games that kill their main characters at some point, right? 2 kills people. 3 doesn't. 3 has party members that you make yourself. 1 and 3, you kind of get to name your own party members and they make it, right? 2 kills people. 4 kills people. 5 kills people. 6 doesn't permanently kill people, right? Does it? I don't think. 7 is the one that got everybody's attention, right, with Aerith. But, like, it was hardly the first. I don't know how much the next part's going to be. I think the remake that was just Midgar was worthy of being a full game, so I have no problem with the price on it. It was a very good game. I don't know how long the next part will be. It's a question I have too. Like, I don't know if it's going to go up through the Temple of the Ancients. Is it going to be like how do you break up the rest of it? I don't have any clue. Where they would draw the line on that. And they've been really closed-mouthed about how many episodes it's going to be. And I love Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I thought it was really weird that they named it Final Fantasy VII Remake and not like Final Fantasy VII Remake : Midgar or Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 or like the name makes it imply that it's the whole game. And I thought that was kind of crap. Like they should have named it better than that. Like, what are they going to do when they put out the second one? They can't call it Final Fantasy VII Remake 2. They might, but they shouldn't. That is just confusing, right? Like, so I don't know. I will say this though, it was a very good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would buy it if they made another one, and I hope to God that they. And like some of these they would never do. But Final Fantasy IV remake, Final Fantasy V remake, Final Fantasy VI remake, Final Fantasy IX remake. I would love all of those, man. If they gave them that same treatment, oh my god. I would play the hell out of that. Like so much. Especially like with that combat system they put in 7. Could you imagine playing like 6 and being able to like run around and like like fight Kefka and like full like action combat? Hell, suplex the train and it actually like in full 3D show you suplexing a phantom train. I'd pay to see that. They'd have to put it in there if they did it, right? They'd have to figure out a way to make it be a possibility. Even if they just made it a cutscene that he does it at some point. Like, it would have to be in there. Final Fantasy Tactics remake. I'd love that too. Better cutscenes, better graphics, maybe even an expanded story, some tweaked mechanics in some of the fights. Maybe like I'd love it. They don't have to tweak much. Like it's a good game already. Like people get upset that like all these video game companies are like making these remakes instead of like making new games. But man, as someone who played those games back in the day, seeing them like lovingly recrafted into like the modern technology is just awesome, you know? I like it better though, like some I'm trying to think of certain games that do it. 7 Remake obviously is a good example of this, is like where they actually remake the game and not just like slap some updated graphics on it. Like remaster, I don't care as much about a remaster, right? But a remake, that gets me excited. And they have to actually lovingly remake it like they did with 7. Like take a bad example of this and a good example from the same series. Trials of Mana, which just came out, is a really nice remake of Second Densetsu 3. Secret of Mana, which they remade earlier, is a crappy remake, and I like the original Super Nintendo version better. Yes, the new one has better graphics, but it's just not very good, honestly. Like I preferred the Super Nintendo. That's sad. So I would like for them to actually remake games, like, and take care of them in the process. You know, I'd pay for that. You know, I've been talking. I'm not even paying attention. Like, I've probably got plenty of money now, right? Only 600? Oh my God, what is going on? We need to just bite the bullet and move on, man. We've been grinding here way too long. Oh man. Alright, let's see what we can buy for 600. Like probably nothing, right? We can get that iron axe. That's 5 more attack. Maybe we go for the defense instead. We can get 10 defense, or we can get 5 attack. Man. That's rough. I don't know that 5 attack is worth all that money right now. 10 defense probably is. That triples our defense, right? Let's get that. Anything to sell? Oh, can we not wear the dragon scale and the chainmail at the same time? Is that a thing? I guess the dragon scale takes up the armor slot in this version. I feel like in the original the dragon scale was like an accessory. Like I didn't think it took up your armor slot. Okay, no, you can wear them both. Why was my dragon scale not equipped? What happened there? Yeah, we can equip both of them. That puts our defense up to 20. So we've gone from 5 to 20. That's not bad at all. Alright, so we don't have the upgraded attack, but that's just going to have to do for now, I think. We need to move on. What level are we? We're like level 6? We're not gaining enough. Like, we're just not getting enough XP right now. Was there a reason to go in that cave over there? I don't know if there really is. I feel like we should move on to the next town, which I believe is the one to the east. Let's go stop at the king and save, though. Yeah, I'd like that too, Godly Snack. Speaking of remasters, or remakes, I guess remakes in this case. Did you guys hear that Blizzard is remaking Diablo 2 and it's coming out by the end of the year? They're calling it Diablo 2 Resurrected. I mean, I don't know entirely how I feel about that because I thought they were working on Diablo 4, but at the same time, I really love Diablo 2, so, you know, obviously I'm interested. Like, a lot. Like, okay, so in this case, right, they're making Diablo 4, so that's where all your new ideas go, right? Keep all your new ideas in Diablo 4. I want Diablo 2 to be like Diablo 2, but with like new graphics and maybe slightly better controls. Like, you know, bring it up to the times, but you don't need to change the mechanics because you're making Diablo 4. You can try your new stuff out there. I want like souped up Diablo 2, but I still want it to be Diablo 2 when it gets to me, right? That one I don't want them to change, really. Now, I wouldn't mind, like, maybe some new items, maybe some new dungeons, a new chapter, maybe even, like, new classes, new rune words. I'd be fine with all of that. But, like, I still want to have, like, and yeah, I'm fine with them, like, tweaking the mechanics of the skills, but, like, I still want there to be, like, skills and a skill tree, and I don't want it to be like Diablo 3 where you just kind of, like, pick the skills you want as you go up, and that's it, and you don't, like... I liked having the skill trees. I miss them in WoW, too, you know? WoW used to have the skill trees. I did save, right? I always, like, get to talking, and then I'm like, did I save? I was, like, on autopilot through that. I think I saved. Let's just move on. Diablo 3 got a lot better eventually. I like Diablo 3, it's fun. In the beginning when there was like the auction house and you could just like buy whatever good item you needed and you just look at the percentages and if they're green you equip it and whatever, and that was kind of dumb, but it got a lot better than it was on release. I enjoy Diablo 3 at this point. Yeah. I didn't like it very much when it first came out. But like Diablo 3 in its current state, I think is a good game. Right, there is a town like off to our east over here somewhere. Now that we're across this bridge, we should be making like more of these Drackies and ghosts and stuff, so we'll be getting more consistently higher XP and money. And we won't have any trouble fighting these guys. I think we're plenty leveled for this. We just gotta find our way over to the town. Okay, there's another bridge. Was there anything in this poison? There was just poison in the way and that was it, huh? Yeah, there's a bunch of things that, like, I feel like Diablo 2 wouldn't be Diablo 2 if it didn't have, like, at least similar itemization to what it has. If it didn't have the skill trees. If it didn't have the rune words, which originally didn't have the rune words. They got added in the expansion, I think. But at this point, they're, like, a part of the game, right? Oh, yeah, those guys are worth a lot more. That was all kinds of slimes. Alright, there's the town. Alright, scorpions. They can actually hurt me. Look at that, 16 XP and 25 gold. We're rolling in dough now. Oh, okay. Dracolites. Okay, we one-shot him. 12 XP and 20 gold. This is the spot, man. Good day, friend. Thou hast found thy way to the humble village of Cole. Yeah, unique sets, uniques and sets and room words. It's all good stuff. Yonder housewife goeth by the name of Claire. Her husband did depart in search of magic keys, and hath yet to return. But what manner of man must he be to leave such a beauty to wallow in solitude and woe? Men. I must not bemoan my lot. My beloved husband possesseth great dreams. Far be it from me to hinder them. So the Sword of Legend is not to be found in this establishment either? Now that I think upon it, 'twould be strange if it were for such a treasure to be bought and sold to our common commodity. You thought the Sword of Legend was going to be in the weapon shop? Come on, dude. Come on. Alright, so full plate is 3,000 gold. Oof. We can get that iron axe pretty easily, though, with the money we're getting here. Locks, child. Thine is a face fit only for the fairest of maidens. I do not doubt that thou art an uncommonly happy young fellow. He. That old lady's hitting on me. Knowest thou of Rimeldar? I hear a merchant there doth ply a trade in keys. In keys, you say? Interested am I. Wasn't the loot, like, in this town, just, like, hidden somewhere? I don't remember. We'll figure it out later. Oh, there's the flute. Okay. It's, like, sparkling. Alright. Lo, thou art fair indeed. I've never played the Switch version, if you guys weren't clear on that. I've played the original, and I've played the Game Boy Color version of this. I've never played this version before. Lo, thou art fair indeed. Wilt thou sample the sensual Puff Puff for a mere 20 coins? Now, we are hurting for money, guys. We need so much money, but we gotta get that Puff Puff, right? We're gonna get some Puff Puff. Tee-hee-hee. Then let the ritual begin. Puff Puff. Puff, 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 puff. Puff, 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 puff. Well, art thou not alive with pleasure? Puff, 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 puff. Alas, the ritual is ended. Thy custom is e'er appreciated, noble sir. Pray visit us as often as the mood taketh thee. Alright, we got our classic Puff Puff done. That was a good spend of 20 gold, right? Hey, a seed of strength. They have stat seeds in this version? I don't think the original had stat seeds. I'll take it. Behold the public baths. Enter, wanderer, and cleanse thyself with that Puff Puff. Puff, puff, puff. Oh, I can hardly bear it. Hee-hee-zee. Alright, how much is it to sleep here? 12 gold, not yet. Alright, might as well use the seed of strength. Come on, 3 points. Hey, 3 points. Nice. Good luck. The fairy flute. I think we use that. Is this the flute that we use against the golem? To put him to sleep? Maybe? We need to sell these plain clothes. They're taking up space. Oh. Brave Erdrick, bearer of the blood of Erdrick. Hero of legend, know that thy weapon will not serve to vanquish the Dragon Lord. The sword of thine ancestor remaineth still in this land. Seek it out and let it cleanse the realm of evil once more. That's annoying. Alright. We need magic keys to get in there. Though formidable indeed, the towering golem feareth but one thing, the painfully pure tones of the fairy flute. Some creatures cannot be vanquished by main force alone, yet all are possessed of a weakness. Learn of it and exploit it. A traveler did tell me of a cave at the sea's edge, south of this place, in which languished a maiden most fair. That is the princess. Which we will get around to saving at some point. but the cave in question is overrun with foul fiends. Pray, how might a delicate damsel survive in such a hellish hole? More likely that it seemed that the traveler, driven mad with fear, did glimpse a phantom of his mind's own making. You'd be crazy. But not really. That was the princess. Alright. What we got here? Nothing I care about. Let's sell some stuff. We want to get rid of these plain clothes. And that's it for now, I think. Alright, so we can rest here. We already got the flute here. And we have new equipment we can buy here, but we need like all the gold ever to do it. So I'll have to work on getting all the gold ever. Yeah, the guy put poison on his shop. He's what you call a people person.